Okay. Recording audio, so we're good. I'm going to put this. Wait, we're not there yet. Hairs. The other day I was plucking hair out of my t-shirt at the rock show with Lua on the leash, waiting for Mickey to go around the block to come park. And I was like, chick, chick, chick. And these two guys drive by and one of them says, "Oh, you have another one here." It was so funny. That was really funny. I don't know. They never saw a person plucking their hair out. They never saw me. I do it 1,000 times a day. So now with Lua came to teach me that it doesn't matter because it could always be worse.
There is that. And nomads who learn to live with the dust.
She bathes you in hair. So, hi. So, you know Deb. She has appeared in some other videos before. I have always been fascinated by your choice of vehicle and how you transform them into amazing homes inside.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So it was the pie you gave me today was enough to keep me yeah.
Indeed.
So I remember, and if you go back in the history of the channel, you can see her first vehicle. It was an amazing limo. She became a nomad living in a limousine, but not a regular one. So you will have to go there and find out what it was because it was amazing. But then, of course, she couldn't keep it because no mechanic would work on that.
Yeah, modified vehicle, whatever.
Yes, it was I was so sad.
I know. But it really wasn't practical for being a nomad, so...
Well, you wouldn't have...
In terms of the clearance, yeah.
But then you got an SUV and you have turned that thing into the most amazing space. Well, you're very nimble yourself. You can crawl into tiny spaces.
So far.
But you made it amazing. So I have always liked how creative you are in terms of if I put this here and the other thing in here, and da-da-da-da-da. It's like those games where the pieces come and you have to put them. What's the name of those games?
Tetris?
Yes, thank you. You do that, and it's fascinating. Tetris. So if anyone wants to see what she does with her vehicle, which she has done, there are some videos in my channel, and her channel is...
Nomad, your own nomad.
Yeah, but how do you write nomad? Because
so this is my dad's idea. K-N-O-W, that kind of nomad, your own nomad. Like hike your own hike, nomad, your own nomad. Do it your way. Yep.
So I'm going to put a link in the description of this video in case you want to go there. She does a slightly different type of videos, very interesting. She will make you think. What if you don't like to think?
Don't go there.
Don't go there. But if you want a little bit of a challenge and think, well, I never thought of that, or why do you? That's the type of video you want to watch. But going into that, because we always have these interesting conversations, this video is not about being a nomad, about the van tour.
None of those things.
No, this is going to bring you into a new rabbit hole that you may be surprised. It may change your life, actually. So, let's go there. My name is Adriana, and this is Many Roads, No Rules. The point is, I was telling her yesterday, I would like to introduce who we are as a couple. I love you enough not to give you that. But who we are as in this relationship as friends.
Yeah.
Because we met in 2018. I was in the middle of an experiment I was conducting in terms of friendships and socialization, to say something, not to go deeper into it. And the reason for that is she's about to start an experiment of her own, and I wanted to give you the warning. Hey, this is going to happen, and it's going to. I am dying to see what you.
Oh, me too. I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, to see what happens out of your investigation of all of this, because we do those things. I was in 2018 in the middle of dating, online dating. And after almost 100 coffee dates,
literally, she's not exaggerating.
No, that were pathetic in many different ways. A friend of mine said, "You have to. You are doing it wrong. You have to do dinner dates, so you have more time to explore the person and their personality." And I said, "Hey, what if I don't like the person? Then I am stuck there for a whole hour, and I have to eat in front of that person and see them eat." No. Coffee dates were fantastic. I am a good character judge, so I knew. Now, this one is married. That one is a liar. Whatever. So yeah, it was one coffee date was enough, but
more than enough.
But it was so, I was like, am I the, there is a thing online, am I the asshole? I was thinking, am I the one? So I started a different kind of experiment. I founded the Singles Club on Meetup to gather people to talk about this. Why am I such a failure? I cannot get someone to connect with online dating. And suddenly 60 or 70 people started coming to those gatherings because everybody was experiencing the same thing, and that is how we met, and we had so much fun.
Oh my God.
Detecting the BS on so many people. You were particularly good at that, at seeing all the red flags everywhere. In the middle of the night, complete darkness, you would see the red flags anyway. Fantastic. Which brings me to the point of, I'm sorry, I have a hair in my eye. So, brings me to the point of catching red flags is an art. And this
lots and lots of practice.
Good at that. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So, the point is, we met in the middle of an experiment that I was conducting. Over the years, we tested our knowledge of probing things and testing things, and like when we would go out for ethnic food and try different things and always exploring. We have the same type of mind. We like to,
let's go see.
Yeah.
Explore, be curious.
What is this? And go into the movies. And remember that, what was it, Norwegian or Swedish movie about that lady, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember the country the movie was made of, but it was a very trippy thing. It was fantastic. It was a good movie, but we would experiment with those things.
Yeah.
In that sense, we're good friends. We find interesting things. One day we started experimenting or playing with the idea of becoming nomads. So I remember you're more experimental than I am. I just go for it. But I remember you would go to state parks and camp there for a weekend.
Yes. Yeah, I was doing that. I don't even remember if that was pre the nomad decision or not. Probably after, because I was not a camper at all before deciding to do this lifestyle. But yeah, there was one state campground that was within the metro area, so it was easy to get to, but still be out in nature to get the feel and see if I want to
what
do
do
this.
I do if there are mosquitoes?
Oh,
that
God.
kind of thing. In Minnesota, mosquitoes can carry you for a distance. But I do remember that you were experimenting with your mattress in your own room
Yes.
to sleep in so much big a mattress or whatever.
On a platform.
Yeah, and even the way you drink your water and so many other things.
Yeah,
You
do
were
as much as possible the way you would on the road in sticks and bricks.
peeing in a bottle.
Indeed.
Indeed. So, recently, what was it, a couple of months ago or so, you started making some shorts in your YouTube channel about insomnia.
Yes.
What was that about?
So, I think it was in 2019, after a period of being in menopause, my body learning to associate a bed with not sleeping and having gone through hot flashes, and that was pretty much my symptom, but it would keep me awake. So I just never slept. And I started making mistakes at work, and it just wasn't pretty. And I was almost willing to start taking pharmaceutical solutions. No, not that, but sleeping.
Okay.
Sleeping assistance,
Sleeping
because I was
medication.
so desperate for a solution. And I finally went to my primary care physician, and it just happened to have a practitioner of this method called CBTI in the practice. I wouldn't have to go anywhere, drive 100 miles to have a session with this person. And there's so much to learn about it online, but it's cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. And for some people, when they can't sleep, it's a thing in their mind and they're ruminating and all that. Yes. For me, strictly physiological, I didn't have to deal with that piece. So I was lucky enough to do sleep boot camp, which is sleep restriction. So you make yourself stay up, and you're used to staying up that late anyway, so it's not that big a deal in the beginning. Stay up till 2:30, but you have to commit to getting up at the same time every morning, no matter how tired you are, and eventually bumping back 15 minutes, 30 minutes over time until your natural sleep drive comes back and kicks in, and you just can't stay awake. So that's what those shorts were, because over the last month and a half or so, lots of things were impeding me from being able to sleep. So some involved travel and sleeping on a horrible, horrible bed in an Airbnb. Horrible for my body, not anybody
Something
else's.
was not comfortable for
Yeah,
you.
exactly. So I recognized that, I'm not sleeping, so I need to kick this practice in again, which I have, 2, 3, 4, 5 times over the last 4 or 5 years.
And you made those, I think it's 2 shorts.
3.
Or 3. About that
The
CBD
process.
oil, no. What was the?
CBTI.
CBTI.
Yeah.
And you made those shorts. As many things you have always done, because she is an expert on trauma and so many other things, and sometimes she gives me concepts I have no idea what she's talking about. But it's interesting, and then I poke her brain, and then I get a lot of information that is actually useful to me. She's teaching me about why my responses, like I told you,
it's all about the nervous system.
Yeah, growing up in a nun school gave me the don't walk in the center
what
of the
else
hallway.
would have happened?
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So, but every time she throws out something that is weird, or that my brain goes like, what? Exactly. I go like, okay, tell me more, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
And it's going to be really good.
I may not care at all about it, but I want to know, because maybe I will end up caring about that. So I watched your shorts, as always,
But you sleep really well, so
I sleep
there'd
like
be
a
nothing
log.
to stick.
I sleep
Yeah.
like a log, except if I am working for DGK the third shift.
Oh God.
But when I watched your shorts recently, like a week ago or
Yep.
so, I sent her a short I found from another channel, and I will put the link in the
Yeah.
description of this video, so please watch that short first, because it's nicely done, made by a historian, so an expert on history. Haha, you thought I didn't know the word historian. You're wrong, I knew it. The etymology of the word. So yes, it is done by a historian about sleep patterns of human beings. There. So I sent her. I told
It
you
was
about
the
that.
medieval times.
Medieval times.
Yeah.
But first I told you because we were talking, and I told you, oh, you know what, about your shorts, about the sleeping and the insomnia and sleep deprivation and how to train your brain and blah, blah, blah. I found this interesting short, 1 minute long, about that, and this is what I found. So we parted ways. Maybe it was dark, and we all went to our. We each went to our rigs, and you watched that short, and you started investigating,
Like you do.
like we do, because we are know-it-alls.
We have to.
Proud of it.
We have to
and
know.
we have to.
Yeah, you gotta know why.
Your brain is a muscle like the rest of your body, not physiologically, of course, but you have to train your brain. Otherwise, you sit and you just watch paint dry, which I promise is very boring. But she started investigating, and it took
And only one video.
5 minutes. You send me the link.
You gotta watch this.
You have to watch this. And so we are going to link the. Sorry, and we are going to put the link of that video you sent me in the description. Those short and video, which is masterfully done also.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That sent us both through another rabbit hole. My goodness, it's full of rabbits in our lives. But I will, since we gave you the story of why we're friends and why our brains work the way they work, now I will give you the floor to talk about what that short was about, the video you sent me, what it was about, and what your experiment is going to be.
Yes. Ooh, so exciting. Okay, so the original short was referencing biphasic sleep, which I may or may not have bumped into prior to her sending the link to the short. But if I did, it didn't stick because I didn't recognize the term. So I watched it and I naturally am attracted to alternative ways of thinking and perceptions of how humans actually used to do things and why. So it was a no-brainer thing for me to go down this rabbit hole at all. And so I put that term into, I think, YouTube search field. And the first video that I found was the perfect one to start with. Just that's the way it happens, right?
Luckily.
Yeah. So apparently, in medieval times, humans used to have a first sleep and a second sleep. And this has been recorded in literature from antiquity and references in journals, that kind of thing. And people who were translating from Greek and Latin and other languages into English, they would run into those terms and they had no idea what they were talking about. So they just skipped over them. And that's why
That is what we inherited.
Exactly.
A huge lack of understanding.
Exactly. Huge blind spot.
Yep.
So apparently a scholar from England decided to investigate this, and that's the next rabbit hole of like,
Yep.
why did he get interested in that? Because such an obscure thing. He found over 500 references to first and second sleep in these ancient writings. And the benefits, well, I don't know if I can speak to the benefits back then.
Let's dissect a little bit further the concept of first sleep and second sleep.
Yes.
When does the first sleep happen?
So the way I've heard it described in just these two instances is that when the sun goes down, so I'm assuming this applies to winter because it's so early, sleep, 3-4 hours, that's your first sleep. And then you wake up for...
And you're like, boing.
Boing. Or you just kind of wake up. And also back in these medieval times, there were no lights, artificial lights, or devices to interrupt our sleep patterns. So they would wake up, they'd read, they'd maybe have some social interaction because that's what everybody else was doing, play some music, whatever.
A nightcap?
Yeah, why not?
And probably that is the origin of some people getting up at 2 a.m. to go to the fridge.
Yeah. They didn't have them back then, but that's okay.
Well.
But we do. So stay awake for 2 hours. That's kind of the number that's come up. And then have your second sleep for 2, 3, 4 hours.
That they would call the second nap.
No, second sleep.
Oh, second sleep?
Yep.
Oh.
I mean, maybe nap too, but that's what I remember. First sleep, second sleep. And awake, refreshed, and ready to re-engage with life. And based on modern humans' difficulties with sleeping and waking up at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock consistently, it's like, oh man, this explains some of those issues. And here's a solution that is built into our DNA maybe and our evolution as humans, because this is documented in medieval and prior. But this is what humans did.
And the solution is, it's okay.
It's okay.
So
and embrace it.
When we talked about this, my first flash was, oh my gosh, how many of us have gone to our doctor and say, I have insomnia. I wake up at 2 a.m. I cannot stay asleep.
Yeah, I can't stay asleep.
Please give me something to take. And the doctor, doctors love that. They will give you this powerful pill that will keep you as a log all night long and will keep you drowsy.
Yeah, during the day.
Noon.
Yeah.
So, because medication, again, we are going back to the fact that why am I a biohacker? Medication is not the answer. In my life, with keto is let food be your medicine. Now we are opening another chapter, is do not take medication if you cannot sleep at night. I think you're just more connected with your primal needs.
Yes. And I'm a pharmacist's daughter, so I should be pro drugs and prescriptions and that kind of lifestyle, but no.
But the point is, how many of us, when we wake up at 2 a.m. and cannot fall asleep again because we are super fresh, how many of us feel guilty? Oh, I should be sleeping.
Yes.
Because tomorrow morning I will be a mess because I did not have enough sleep.
Absolutely.
There is someone or something to be blamed
in us.
But there was a historical event that changed things.
Oh, yes.
So, do you mind sharing?
Yes, so the lovely Industrial Revolution that is so...
You think it brought the cars? Just that?
God,
no. It messed up with our sleep patterns.
Yes, because we were required to adapt our physiology and our psychology to a time period that was helping other people meet their agendas in terms of creating their businesses, creating products for them, creating profits for them. And also in that time period, people used to drink a lot of watered down beer because water wasn't that great. Yep. So that's what they drank. And then coffee came into the picture so people could stay awake and, understandably not be drunk, to make money for the man. So Industrial Revolution, coffee, messing up our sleep patterns and interrupting that biphasic sleep.
And
now
also
it's monophasic.
The light bulb.
Yes.
That allowed us to stay up.
Artificial light.
Until later in the night. Otherwise, when the sun came down, we would all go to sleep naturally.
Yeah.
But now we have electricity. Now we can prolong our awake time.
Yes.
After dinner, with friends, having parties, whatever it is, reading, doing more
Devices,
things, watching TV.
Yeah.
Yes. So we don't go to bed when the sun sets.
And when we're naturally tired. We trick ourselves.
Are tired.
Yeah.
Yes. We push ourselves to be more productive.
Yep.
And so that has been messing up with us. And again, I bring back the concept. If you wake up at 2 or 3 a.m., you are not defective. You do not have insomnia. That is your Neanderthal or whatever thing you have in your genes reminding you that, hey, this is the time when you have to be awake because you have already slept 3 or 4 hours. Now you have to do something like cats. Yeah. Cats take how many naps a day?
Yeah, and that's polyphasic sleep.
Yes, we are not that.
No.
And
it could be.
We could. But as cats, they sleep several times during the day and they are alert at night because they need to chase their food. We need to sleep 3 or 4 hours at sunset or when we are tired, and then take advantage of the 2 or 3 hours that come after that, and then go back to sleep and wake up in the morning and be totally fresh and nice.
Indeed.
And without any kind of insomnia medication in your veins.
The worst.
In your veins. Yes. So what is your experiment going to be now?
So as a nomad, because you can pick and choose everything about your lifestyle, I'm going to set up an experiment to determine what is my natural sleeping clock. Is it at sundown? I mean, we're in winter right now, so it's probably going to start there, and see where that goes and adjusting for myself. And then what does it feel like to have that first sleep and then do something constructive or not during that break? And we still don't really know what that name is. And then the first wake, and then to have that second sleep. And I've heard people describing in their experiments on YouTube how refreshing and deep and the quality of that second sleep. So I'm really excited about experiencing that.
In that video, you will find it, there is even a recommendation from some doctors to couples who are looking to have a baby, to make a baby, to do it during that wake period. Yeah. Because since they already slept 3 or 4 hours, they are more rested, so they're going to have more fun. They're going to do it better.
Yeah, that's the words they use. It's going to be better.
They're going to do it better.
Yeah. So, and also in that video, they reference a modern study where 7 men and no women, so they experimented with their sleep, and over 30 days, all of them consistently split up into the biphasic sleep, which is another avenue of confirmation that this is indeed something humans do naturally.
That could fix that horrible feeling of I couldn't sleep last night. I woke up. I roamed around the house for 2 or 3 hours. That's normal. That's good.
And I'm also curious, who came up with the arbitrary 8 hours of sleep? Somebody had to make that arbitrary decision. And
True.
that's impacted our feelings of guilt and
Yep.
I'm defective and blah, blah,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah.
And to me, the whole thing is just fascinating because I like history. I like the way history impacts our lives because we know history is written by the winners.
Right.
And it's the same thing. Someone in the 60s, going back to what I do, I mean, the diet thing, in the 60s, someone came up with the standard American diet, the SAD, and ruined society as we know it today, with enormous amounts of people being pre-diabetic and everything, or morbidly obese, because grains are important, and actually they are not. Human beings came in contact with grains 10,000 years ago.
Very recently.
Exactly. In our history, that is not enough to allow our bodies to learn how to process grains. That is why my favorite t-shirt says, "Don't blame the butter for what the bread did." And that is history in motion. That is real history. Yeah. But now we get to write, I am very ambitious here, we get to write history of sleep from a different perspective. The same way the SAD was established, and now it's being proved to have been a huge mistake.
And it's another instance of if you just scratch the surface a little bit, you'll find out what is underneath. Arbitrary decisions that obviously were to an advantage of somebody. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made them.
Yeah.
And finding solutions and alternatives to what's accepted in mainstream.
And the answer to the sleeping pattern being modified, it is in the video we are going to link, because it says during the Industrial Revolution, they needed people to work the third shift.
All right, period.
Yeah, they needed people to sacrifice their well-being and the circadian rhythm and all those good things to produce more working overnight.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, we got everything changed for us, and we can take ownership of the solution now. So, yeah, this is a very interesting thing to have learned. It just happened for both of us.
Yeah, within the week.
And I want to learn about your experiment. I know you will document that.
Yes.
And for anyone out there that is suffering with, oh, I am so inadequate, because let me tell you what I do when I wake up at 2 a.m. and I am like, ta-da! I usually watch documentaries. The reason for that is, I told you, documentaries usually are spoken, or you hear this very monotone voice, and I thought, okay, this is going to put me back to sleep. And then I engage in the interesting history of
and then you're really awake.
In which state? Philadelphia, I don't remember. The
Pennsylvania.
City, Pennsylvania, the city that burned. Super interesting. Then I get super enthusiastic about the new thing I learn, and I keep going. So, but you think of the many times you woke up thinking, oh, I shouldn't be awake, I should be sleeping, and these thoughts that go around.
Yeah, it just makes it worse.
It makes it worse. Just do something that you need to do.
Yeah, I watched a video of a guy who was working on making a documentary.
Yeah. Work on that. When you become sleepy again, then you take your second sleep, your second nap, whatever you want to call it. I will be following your progress with your experiment, and I hope you enjoy experimenting.
Oh, I always do. Always do. Because, it's with an open mind, like, oh, what's going to happen? And almost assuming that good things will happen and that it will impact my life in an amazing way. just to take one more layer of burden off from what we learned from our culture that isn't true.
Exactly, and forgiving yourself for being awakened at 2 a.m. Yay, it's natural.
What is that going to feel like to get a good night's sleep all the time? I mean, I know you do, but
I do. I sleep like a log.
Wow.
But when it doesn't happen, I have learned to forgive myself and say, you know what? I will keep going throughout the night. I will do something interesting. And then during the day, if I feel extremely tired, I will take a nap. And usually it resolves on its own. So it is good.
Yeah.
The no stress about that.
Yes. And it's not necessarily that this is going to negate what I learned about sleep restriction and the CBTI for insomnia, because that was like no sleep and impacting my life in all ways, all levels. So it's not like that's going to invalidate that at all. There are certain techniques and practices for certain situations. So it's just adding to my repertoire or my wardrobe of solutions.
Excellent. I love it. So, if you made it to this point and you didn't fall asleep, it means you are sleeping well at night, which is
Maybe.
But that is the premise. When I worked in the mattress industry, and that is what I would ask people: how long does it take you to fall asleep?
Oh man!
If they say, "Oh, the minute I put my head on the pillow, I'm out," that means your mattress is in very bad shape. And we are going to discuss mattresses because it means you are extremely tired. Naturally, it has to take you about 15 minutes to become
hours.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
To be sleepy, to feel sleepy. It means you are sleeping comfortably in your bed. If it takes you forever, it doesn't matter. You are not exhausted. Your brain is okay. So allow yourself to feel okay. And if you fall asleep immediately, change your mattress. But we will discuss mattresses someday.
Oh yeah.
That's another
rabbit hole. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Have a great sleep tonight.